In the early 2000s, facing mounting international pressure, the Israeli military began seeking non-lethal means of dealing with the non-chosen Sand People. The year 2000 marked the beginning of what's become known as the Second Intifada, a period of widespread uprising in the territory formerly known as Palestine. Within the first 5 days of the protests, 47 Palestinians were killed, and the Israeli military shot over 1 million rounds of ammunition. By 2005, over 3,000 Palestinians and 1,000 Israelis were dead. Witnesses to the massacre across the globe were desperate for a peaceful alternative. It was to no avail until in 2004, the Israeli Defense Force accidentally shot one of their own, Gil Na'amati, a 21-year-old Israeli demonstrator. Only then did it become clear that a change of tactics was necessary. Enter Odortech, a revolutionary Israeli security startup with just one product, Skunk. Skunk was developed to be a preferable alternative to live fire for dissident suppression. It is a foul substance that reeks of sewage and death, a yellow-brown liquid containing sulfur, organic fermentation products, and adhesive agents so it sticks to surfaces, including skin. In the field, skunk is added to water and cartoonishly fired from hoses onto heavy traffic areas, or the protesters themselves. It causes nausea, vomiting, irritation, and obviously bad odor. After use, wherever it is applied is rendered unlivable and the effects are long-lasting. The Palestinians refer to it simply as shit. From the BBC, imagine the worst, most foul thing you have ever smelled. An overpowering mix of rotting meat, old socks that haven't been washed for weeks, topped off with the pungent waft of an open sewer. Imagine being covered in the stuff as it is liberally sprayed from a water cannon. Then you imagine not being able to get rid of the stench for at least 3 days, no matter how often you try to scrub yourself clean. And from Reuters, imagine taking a chunk off a rotting corpse from a stagnant sewer, placing it in a blender and spraying the filthy liquid in your face. Your gag reflex goes off the charts and you can't escape, because the nauseating stench persists for days. Skunk has been administered effectively in Israel since around 2004, and is still in use there today. Following a successful run in the Middle East, Odortech took their idea to the international stage and began distributing their product, whose effectiveness at this point could not be disputed. Notably, in the United States, skunk was used in response to the Ferguson protest after the 2014 killing of Michael Brown. Reports of a skunk-like product, although probably not skunk proper, have also been weaponized in Hong Kong, Korea, and the United Kingdom. In a devastating case of friendly fire, skunk has been used against ultra-Orthodox Jewish protesters in Israel as well. The proliferation of skunk around the world has also accidentally led to a historical anomaly that can only be described as low-hanging fruit: the time skunk was used on Indians. There is a coveted territory disputed between India and Pakistan called the state of Jammu and Kashmir. In 2016, India, Pakistan, China, and the Hizbul Mujahideen were all engaged in an interplay for control of the area. Catalyzed by the killing of prominent Mujahideen commander Burhan Wani by the Indian security forces, Kashmir locals erupted into protest. Initially, the Indian Central Reserve Police Force suppressed the protest using simple pellet and BB guns. This predictably resulted in the blindings and even deaths of many protesters. An alternative method was necessary. Always prepared for the sale, the Israelis answered the call. An ample supply of skunk was shipped into Delhi, where it was weaponized against the public. But something strange occurred. It seems that when the stink bomb was used against the Indians, it had no effect. According to the officials from the Indian Central Reserve Police Force, the CRPF decided to test a few samples of the Israeli product a few months back. Tests were conducted and the stink bomb was found ineffective. We used it on a captive crowd, consisting of CRPF personnel and the general public, but they managed to tolerate the smell without much difficulty. Maybe Indians have a higher threshold of tolerating stench. The bomb is harmless. Those who can ignore the smell can drink the liquid also. So there we have it. The Indian people are immune to stink-based warfare. For the uninitiated, India is notorious for dealing with its garbage and human waste in ways that would be totally foreign to a Westerner. There is litter everywhere, and mounds of garbage form notorious landmarks across the subcontinent. The problem is so bad, people online have developed a game via Google Earth where they drop a random pin within India's borders until they find a place where there's no garbage. It is sadly almost impossible. As far back as the 1960s, we get this quote from British journalist Arthur Kessler. "The damp heat, impregnated by their stench, invaded the air-conditioned cabin the moment the door of the Viscount was opened. As we descended the steps, I had the sensation that a wet, smelly diaper was being wrapped around my head by some abominable joker. Problem or tactical advantage? I tend towards the latter." So thoughts.
Okay, real quick, this will be my first true interjection. Without much to go on, when you had began explaining the video, immediately I was like, did this not work on Indian people? Is this the goal of the video?
You get that's like when you're watching a movie and you try to guess
Yeah, I'm like
what the
okay, this guy's gonna die. This guy's gonna be the hero. The stink bomb's not gonna work on Indian people.
and it always sort of feels good when you get it right. Oh yes,
I'm
the Indian.
I'm not fronting here. I literally within 30 seconds I was like, this is not gonna work on Indian people.
Oh, Indian stink bomb, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
That's an oxymoron.
There's no way that works. We were going down to my grandma's in Gladwick. My brother was asleep, and I, Chadwick, was listening to India documentaries for like 6 hours. So my head is just filled with tales of Indian misfortune. You do sort of realize watching these things that, well, one, everything is framed. Everything post like 1990 is framed in a way that makes it look like the British were evil. They really did make everything better. I remember one of the things is like Indians used to just get eaten by tigers all the time, and the British just came in and killed them for them. And they obviously built the railways, which they're like sects of the Indian religion where they worship trains, which is kind of interesting. Basically, the British have to give up India because of pressure from the Americans. That's kind of like a lost fact from history.
Everything in Africa too.
We basically sunk their empire. You know, we were sort of like, okay, we're going to help you, but you're done. Even in their leaving, one of the incidents was like, in India, there are 6 printing presses total. And if we divide the territory up between them and Pakistan, only one of the printing presses is going to be in Pakistan. So we need to sort of come in and make sure that there's like an equal number of printing presses so that things don't devolve. I think it was within like 5 days, Pakistan attacks India. And it devolves into like total violence. Like, literally, as the moment that the British are like, okay, you guys got 2 printing presses, you got 4, we're out, we're done. They're drinking each other's blood and like having shit wars in the streets. Like, it happens in like a second. It's so crazy.
I'm a big defender of British food. You know, my family is half English, and I love the classic British dishes of like bangers and mash, toad in a hole, you know, all these great beans on toast. Yeah, I said it. I like beans on toast. A lot of that, though, it comes from literally, like you said, rationing, you know?
Yeah.
All these dishes are basically like, we have 1 sausage and 3 potatoes.
Yeah.
How can we spread that across a family of 5? Just a lot of these ethnic dishes, I just feel like it probably actually came from like an occupational force. To give an example from my own history, you know, I'm Japanese. Like the number 1 dish in Okinawa is called taco rice. It's literally just like rice with Mexican beef that came from a U.S. Army ration. And that's like the national dish of Okinawa. And you want to know what my Japanese grandmother's favorite meal was? A fillet of fish from McDonald's. She was blown away.
Not to be too on the nose, but after Hiroshima.
No, but literally, like growing up in post-war Japan, my grandmother loved potato cakes from Arby's and the fillet of fish from McDonald's. And when she would pick me up from school when I was a little boy, she'd be like, "Are we going to Macadona or Arby's?" Because she wanted either potato cakes from Arby's or the fillet of fish. I'm also Ukrainian. And with everything kicking off like in that part of the world right now, if the next historical use of a tactical nuke was in Ukraine, that would be personally kind of funny to me. Because it's like my family cannot escape destiny. You will be nuked.
Your destiny is the fillet of fish. Your culture will be erased and you will be eating fillet of fish.
It is weird because being Japanese, like, there is a racism involved. And I don't mind talking about it because it is like, you know,
I feel deeply in my heart.
Most Asian people, there is like a hierarchy. There's like the 3 higher Asians: China, Korea, and Japan. And then there's like the lower Asians, who's basically everyone else you can think of. Like, I had to do a school project, I remember, and it just happened to be about, like, Asia. So I went to my grandmother. I was like, oh, cool. Like, I can talk to her about it, you know? So I had, like, a tape recorder, literally a tape recorder. And I was like, grandmother, how do you feel about the other Asian races, you know? Not thinking anything bad would happen. And she was like, oh, those filthy people are jungle Asians. We are the high Asians. And I was like, well, I can't use that. You know, my great-grandfather died during World War II. But during World War II, Japan was at war with both China and, you know, the United States and the Western powers. So my great-grandfather died fighting the Chinese. So if we ever went to, like, a Chinese buffet, there were multiple incidents where we had to literally leave. My favorite instance was we went to, again, a Chinese... She asked me, I graduated higght school. She was like, where do you want to go for your, you know, celebratory...
McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Filet-O-Fish?
In your life, you have two paths.
But she was
Golden Arches or the Bell?
Yeah, I mean, I get
That's
it. Like,
funny.
the Chinese killed her dad, so, like, whatever. But, like, I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah, our grandma was the same about blacks and Jews and Irish and Italians and every Asian in South America. Well, that should give my wife's lawyer just about everything he needs. Hey, remember to subscribe. Got a topic? Leave it in the comments below. In fact, comment literally anything. It probably helps. Bye.